Perhaps you've had this experience where you're helping someone working through a relational difficulty with another individual, and they sin against them, and they say, well, I confess my sin and I ask for forgiveness. And in many times, these individuals will think that that is actually repentance. Sometimes they will even say, yeah, I sinned against so-and-so and I repented. And then when you get inside the bucket of repentance, you'll only see two items in there, that they confess their sins and they ask for forgiveness. Of course, if that is all they do, they will never change and they will be repeat offenders. And so when you're talking to someone about repentance, about change, you want to make sure that they understand the full linkage to the transformation process, or what you will have is the mitigation of a problem through confession and transactional forgiveness, but they never change the habits that led them into the sin in the first place. Paul tells us in Ephesians 4:22 through 24 that repentance involves putting off the old self and being renewed in the mind, and then putting on a new person. And so repentance, by definition, means change or transformation. Therefore, confession and forgiveness are merely two steps in this elongated process of repentance. And so confession and forgiveness is not repentance. It can be tempting to settle for quick confession and transactional forgiveness, especially after a conflict. The immediate relief of stopping an argument can feel like progress, and in some ways it is progress. But genuine change, this kind of repentance, is not just damage control or mitigation of a problem. It neutralizes the tension, but it doesn't transform the heart. We have to do more than owning it by confessing and asking transactionally for forgiveness. True repentance goes beyond those words. It involves identifying and altering the patterns that led to the sin in the first place. As many of you know, here at Life Over Coffee, we teach the doctrine of repentance as having 13 steps, and all of them are necessary for biblical change. The first part of this process does include these two links, confession and forgiveness, but those are only the entry points to transformation. Once a person acknowledges their sin, they seek forgiveness from God and others, they must move into the deeper work of renewal, identifying sinful habits, replacing them with godly practices, and walking in the newness of life. Understanding the difference between confession and forgiveness and repentance, it is absolutely life-changing. Practicing it can alter relationships in profound ways. And so don't settle for a mirage of change. I confessed it, I asked for forgiveness, but aim for true repentance, the kind that only seeks forgiveness and pursues transformation. That is what you want to settle for. To learn more about the doctrine of repentance, you can type those three words in our search feature, the upper right hand of our website, the doctrine of repentance, and you will find an entire webinar and a whole lot of teaching on this important doctrine.